Hello snowboarders of the internet, I'm your host Avran LeFeber, and in this video we're going to be reviewing the Nidecker Escape. This board features Nidecker's cam rocker camber profile, so camber through the middle with rocker in the tip and the tail, way out at the tip and the tail, so it's a little bit less a rocker. What this is going to do is give you the load and snap of traditional camber, but you're going to have that ease of entry in and out of turns from that rocker, as well as more optimal powder float, plus it's just a little bit easier to press and play around on when you're buttering or jibbing. This board is available in 152, 156, 159, 159 wide, 162 wide, 162 extra wide, 165 wide, 169 extra wide. I rode this board at Copper Mountain during a mix of blue and gray skies as a storm was slowly rolling in, so you had low winds to high winds, you had ice, chop, chunder, hot sun-baked pow, just typical mid-season conditions, and I rode it with my Rome Black Label bindings and my K2 Thraxis boots. Well, this board has one of those highly predictable all-mountain freestyle middle-of-the-road flexes. Softer tips that are accentuated by the rocker zone, stiffer through the midsection with a lot of torsional flex. Basically, it's highly predictable. Now when it comes to stability, you do get chatter in the tips. It does resonate back underfoot. The camber section through the middle is the stiffest section of the board, so that's going to give you the most stability, but even in rutted out terrain, you're probably going to get bucked around. Basically, as I've said, it's a predictable ride. Keep your knees bent, you're probably going to be fine. You ride straight leg and don't know what you're doing and hit knuckles of jumps, you're going to get bucked. So the nice thing about this board is that it does snap fairly well. You load that camber section up and you roll back on the tail, and it acts like a springboard off that little micro rocker. The one thing you need to note is that you have such an abrupt kick right there that when it hits, it immediately pops. You just roll right back in that blunt shape and that abrupt kick work in conjunction, and it springs. This is a board that you can be rolling along, you're gonna pop, boom, you're on the tail, you're in the air. That's just how it is. It's got solid spring and snap to it. It's predictable. Now when it comes to jumps, I didn't hit anything too big with it. I really wouldn't hit like mega booters with this thing. I think you'd want to upgrade to the plus line just because it's a little bit stiffer, but this is one of those boards that if you want to be laid back, you can let the lip throw you and do everything, or you can pop off the lip and not have to worry about it. It gets the job done, and it lets you know it. It's stable enough in the landing, you don't really have to worry about it. So much like everything else on this board, it's predictable. So when you want to butter on the nose or the tail, you just press into that little rocker zone and you can feel it engage, and it just locks in, and you can swizzle and sizzle and you don't have to worry about it. You want to get sideways, you want to sit on that tail, doesn't matter. The only thing you got to know is that camber section, because it's longer in this cam rocker, takes over and you get pop and spring out of whatever you're doing. When it comes to jibbing, it locks and holds a nose or a tail press, and then it pops out of the end of the feature. When you go sideways, the camber section cups right around the feature. You just feel secure and locked in. You don't have to worry about anything. It's going to slide. You're going to be fine. It doesn't clap out, but you're also not doing a balance board act on top of the feature either. This board has a smooth and fluid roll from edge to edge. You notice right away that you don't really have to drive it aggressively, and you're doing very minimal ankle flexion to just steer this board. Now when you do get it on edge and you're really driving it, one thing you got to note is the contact points are a little shorter on this board, so you lose some of that edge bite, especially on firmer or icier snow. It can kick out, because it did this with me numerous times, so you've got to be aware of it. If you know how to carve, you learn really quick what the limitations are and you don't have to worry about it. And if you want to rail it over, drive it from the center where you're just flexing your knee into that camber section, pushing it back off the tail, you can. You can lay this board over. I would recommend soft hero snow. If you think you're going to do it on the firmest shit you can find, you're probably going to die. But other than that, it's once again just a predictable ride. Who's this board for? The all-mountain freestyle rider. This feels like a board that you've ridden for a while. You know what it's going to do, you know what its limitations are. It's predictable, it's easy to ride, but if you need to push it, you can. The only downside is, when you get super aggressive on a carve, sometimes the tail kicks out just because you lose some of that edge bite out at the contact point. Other than that, I mean, anyone could pretty much ride this for the most part. Comparable boards: the Rome Warden, the Jones Mountain Twin, the Solomon Assassin. Binding recommendations: the Nidecker K-On X, the Rome Vice, the K2 lineup. This has been my review of the Nidecker Escape. Do you agree? Do you disagree? Do you own one? Are you going to buy one? Leave me a comment down below. Let's have a conversation about this snowboard. If you're new here, remember to subscribe, click the bell, get those notifications. That way you're not missing any of the videos we got coming out for all you snowboarders of the internet. And if you really like what we're doing over here and you want to support us further, swing on over to Angry Snowboarder VIP and become a member. Sure, I could tell you more here, but I got a video over there that explains it so much better. As always, I've been your host, Avran LeFeber, and I'll see you in another video.